5 years ago, my husband and I, we both sing together. We were asked to lead music for a Christian cruise. Now, if you are ever asked that question, I just want you to know the answer is an automatic yes. Yes, we will be able to do that. We had never had that experience before. And they said, well, pay your way. All you need to do is provide your own passports. We said, no problem, done. We had about 3 months, so I knew we had to get going on these passports. And at this time, we were living in Houston, Texas. Has anyone lived in Houston, Texas? Have you survived a Houston, Texas summer? It's hot, and this was in July. And I was looking through all the paperwork in the house, couldn't find our birth certificates, and went out in the garage. And in Houston, Texas, no joke, they have flying cockroaches that are this big. I know. We moved there, and they said, be careful of flying cockroaches. And I said, you're kidding, right? They said, no. And they really are. They're humongous. And I'm out in our garage looking for our birth certificates to get these passports. And I found my husband's, found the ones for my 2 boys, and I couldn't find mine anywhere. So I searched and searched, took a couple days, and I thought there's got to be an easier way to get my birth certificate. So I went online, and I found out that for $35, you can type in your information, and in a week, you get a copy of your certificate of live birth. So it was a Sunday afternoon, put my information in, done. I thought, good, in a week we'll have it, we'll get our passports going. That Monday morning, I was listening to the messages on my phone. And there was a message that came on, and she said it was the lady from Rochester, New York, where I was born, way upstate New York. And she said, either you entered your information wrong or you weren't born in Rochester. And I thought, well, that is strange. Maybe I had the wrong name of where I was born, or maybe I put the wrong information in. And I called her back, and I said, I'm wide awake. Let me make sure I give you the right information. I gave that to her. She said, let me run it through our system. She came back on and she said, I don't know what to say. We don't have anything in our records for you. And I thought, that is so strange. Happy Monday morning to me. And I said, well, what do? I need to have a copy of my birth certificate. And she said, check with Albany, New York. It's the state capital. They'll have everything there. So I found the number, called up. It took me quite a ways to get to the right person. She got on the phone, and I said, I'm calling to see if my birth certificate is in your office. And she said, the lady said, well, we can't do any of that over the phone. And I said, I just really need to know if my certificate's there. I need a passport. I said, please. She said, we can't. And I said, please, some more. And I won. Then I won. And she said, well, let me check. And I listened to Barry Manilow for about 5 minutes. And then she finally got back on, and she said, I don't know what to say. We don't have any records of your birth in our office. And I'm thinking, do I need to go to Washington, D.C.? Is that where my birth certificate is? And then she said, have you checked with the adoption registry office? And I'm thinking, well, why in the world would I do that? And then she transferred me down to that office. You think you have bad Monday mornings? This was a weird one. And so I talked to the lady. She answered. She said, adoption registry office. I said, I'm not really sure why I was transferred to you. I said, I'm just trying to locate a copy of my certificate of live birth. And she said, well, who transferred you down? I said, I don't remember the name of the lady. And she said, no one is ever supposed to transfer calls down to this office, and hung up. See, that's a Monday morning. And I called my husband and I said, okay, weirdest thing ever just happened. I said, I don't know where I'm going to be able to get my birth certificate. So I thought, let me call my parents. I don't know. I'm thinking, I have the wrong city. Maybe I lived there when I was little, or dementia is setting in at 41 and it's already going, and it's going to be a sad road ahead. So I left a message for my parents. And I said, they can't find my birth certificate in New York. And I also, I felt like a little 2-year-old girl. I said, I was born in New York, right? In Rochester, could you call me back? And about 5 days went by. I didn't know if they were out of town. Finally, I called back, and my dad answered. And I don't know if your parents are like my parents, but they can talk for about 10, 15 minutes on the weather. And my dad got on, and I think all of you were having a lot of rain that summer. 5 years ago, you had a lot of rain, I think. And my dad was talking about all the rain and flooding that was happening, and I'm thinking, do you know where my birth certificate is? And did I have the wrong city name and the wrong state? And finally I jumped in and I said, Dad, did you get my message? And he said, yes, you were born in Rochester, you were born in New York, aliens didn't drop you off, ha ha. He said, don't worry about anything. He said, we'll send you your original birth certificate, we have it. So I thought, all is well, all is fine. I don't know what happened with that whole adoption registry office, that was weird, but I'll be fine. My birth certificate came the next week, and I opened it up, and it's a little half sheet. And it said, this is to certify that my name, born May 18, 1966, Rochester, New York, with a little stamp seal on it. And I looked at that, and I looked at my husband's, and I looked at my boys, and they all had doctors and hospital and footprint and all kinds of cutesy stuffs on theirs, and I didn't have anything. And I said, this is a weird birth certificate. So I called up my brother, who's 3 years older. And I called him and I said, hey, I just got to tell you what's been happening. And I told him about the adoption registry office, and he just laughed. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. He said, first of all, there's no way. He said, you are the spitting image of Mom. I look more and more like Dad every day. There's no way. And he thought it was very funny that I even maybe thought, were we adopted? I said, well, do you have your birth certificate available? And he went to the drawer, pulled his out. He didn't have to dig. I don't know. He was nice and organized. And he read it to me, and I said, well, that sounds like mine. I said, something is weird. And he said, don't even think about it. Don't worry, we're just fine. So yes, that birth certificate worked to get my passport, but there was something inside of me that I just couldn't put that down. And wondering what in the world is different about my birth certificate. And I got online and I Googled and I looked up, and everything that I saw that came on the screen that looked like my birth certificate was one that was used for adoptions. And I thought, there's no way. And I thought, I need to trace where I was born, what hospital I was born in. Maybe they have my original. Maybe I'm just imagining all this. So I called up, left a message with my mom. I said, can you give me the name of the hospital where I was born? I would love to trace to find my original birth certificate. A couple days later, called her back, she answered, and I said, no more weather. Do you have the name of the hospital? And she said, I don't remember the name of the hospital where you were born. And I thought, that's weird. Maybe we're both experiencing dementia early. And I thought, well, I know mine. My kids were born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I remember that because I wrote them multiple checks so I could buy my child from them. Don't we? And the pain that we experienced at that hospital, you just can't forget that. It was written all over my gown. As I was in pain, I saw where I was having my children. And I said, you don't remember the name? And she said, we wanted something more like a clinic. It was something different. And inside of me, I'm thinking, there's no way. And I heard God, not strongly, but I heard him whisper to me, find out more. And that's something that's hard to do as a daughter with parents. And I grew up wanting to be the good girl. And I thought, how do I question my parents if they're telling me the truth or not? And I called up and we talked again, and I said, I've just got to ask you, is there anything you need to tell me? I was down to 3 years old. Is there anything, Mommy, you need to tell me? No, you're our daughter, don't worry about anything. And I said, is there anything that would surprise me that I might find out from the state of New York? No, no, no. You're our kid. And I heard that voice again saying, find out more. I got in touch with this adoption registry office. I'm thinking, this is the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I have to find out more. And I got in touch with them, and I said, you probably don't have many calls like this. I'm 41 years old. I'm not sure if I'm adopted or not. How would I go about finding out maybe if I was?